Good morning. Hi, I'm Frank Messina, and I'd like to welcome you to the June 3rd, 2025 meeting of the Chatham Historical Commission. Before we start, there's a couple of announcements that need to be made. Please note, this meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly hereafter for scheduled and on-demand viewing on any smartphone or tablet device. If anyone else is recording the meeting, please notify the chairman. Seeing none. Pursuant to Governor Healy's March 28, 2025 signing of the Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law 30A-20, until June 30th, 2027, this meeting of the Chatham Historical Commission is being conducted in person and via remote participation. Every effort will be made to ensure the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to this meeting while it is in progress may do so by calling the phone number 508-945-4410, conference ID 298-829-251, or by joining the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the link in the posted agenda. While this is a live broadcast and simulcast on Chatham TV, and you can tell by Christina walking behind me, okay. Xfinity Channel 1072, despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide real-time access. Okay, having said that, the first order of business is roll call to see who's here. Bob Lear. Okay, Bob is absent. He may call in, so we'll see. Nancy Barr?
Here.
Stephanie Hamilton?
Here.
Sandy Porter?
Here.
Janet Tennyson?
Here.
Robert Stevens?
Here.
Robert Wilson?
Here.
And the chair is here. Robert Wilson will act as an alternate member, will act as a voting member in Vice Chair Bob Lear's stead, unless he shows up. Okay. Our agenda is
Unknown participant is now
relatively
joining.
straightforward in the sense that we have two hearings. I just, 389 Bridge Street, that's both the National Register District?
So there was a mistake on our mapping. It had 389 Bridge Street in the National Register District. It is not in the National Register District, so it's only being reviewed under Chapter 158. And also, I believe Bob just tuned in,
Okay,
just called in.
I did, I'm on the.
so
I
doesn't
couldn't
make
get
any
in the
difference
other
on
one.
how we review it then?
It does not, because we over-advertised, so we can just omit that, that part of that.
Do we get a discount or refund? All right, sorry. I'm glad we caught that, or corrected me, or somebody got corrected. Again, what we're talking about here is 389 Bridge Street, to be heard, it's application 25011, to be heard in accordance with Chapter 158 of the Demolition Delay Bylaw. Okay, it's filed by the Wynwood LLC, care of Coleman Ure. And we have a Mr. Coughlin, who's representing the applicant. Want to come forward? Oh, I apologize. I didn't do the minutes, so we'll do it the minutes afterward. Remind me, okay? It's not on the agenda. Let's try two. Okay. All right, guys. You know, I do what I'm told. You don't tell me, I don't do it. All right, this application, again, 389 Bridge Street. We have there is a Form B on the property. I'm sorry, folks, I lost my paper. I will get organized. Can't find it. There's a Form B on the property, which you have, and hopefully you have reviewed it. There was a site visit yesterday where some of us attended, most of us attended, and interesting enough, no, I have it, thank you. Interesting, Mrs. Nancy Orr was the former chairman of the Historical Commission for many years and one of the founding members, and she was chair when I first came on as a newbie. And it's interesting that we're back at this property. Bob, are you with us?
Yes,
Bob Lear?
yes.
Excuse me. He's there? Hey, Bob,
I can hear you.
I'd like to acknowledge you so we can officially have you part of the meeting.
I can hear you.
Okay, that's a yes, you're there. You got to speak up a
Yes.
little, Bob. All right, so we're
Okay.
going to acknowledge Mr. Lear's presence as a voting member of the commission. Sorry, Robert. So we will proceed, we'll proceed with that. I want to just have a couple of quick comments, and I started to talk about it with, Coley Yor, who was a significant member of the community, and his family has owned this property for many years and still does. And I think, quite honestly, we're very pleased that the family is looking to maintain and upgrade the property because it's quite an iconic structure in its location. Before we begin, because we did have some discussion at the site visit relative to the application and the extent in which you're applying for. So quite candidly, right up front, we do have a problem in the sense of the extent of what you explained at the site visits versus what is in the application. You talk about replacing the siding with shingles. Well, there's a difference between replacing and changing. So that's a problem, and we'll talk more about it. And I know you felt you were okay because you were just replacing the siding, but that's not what's going on here. So why don't I just stop talking for a second and let you explain what you think you're doing relative to what's in this application and in your narrative.
Oh, I'm not trying to pull the wool over your eyes.
Of course not. Nobody is all suggesting that.
Explain this. The only reason why we're discussing shingles is they want to maintain this building. They've owned it for 115 years. The family built it to begin with. I have a set of original.
I'm sorry, just quickly, just formally introduce yourself.
My name's Craig Coughlin, Chatham, Mass.
Thank you.
Should I start over again, or should I continue on?
Yes, please.
What, start over?
I'm sorry.
Start over again?
No, just
Okay.
just continue.
So, these
Trust me,
people-
we're not that formal.
All right. So I have the original blueprints for the house from the family. Like I said, they've had this house for 115 years. They built it. It's on a hill, it gets a lot of exposure, and obviously it needs a lot of maintenance and repair and restoration at this point. It needs, on the proposal, we propose to hold the house up. We're not raising it up in the air because the back L, the kitchen addition has a stable foundation under it, very good full foundation. So we're holding it up and not lifting it, securing it and digging under and installing a foundation. The deck is in need repair, or a lot of the houses like that, but the front porch section of the deck needs to be removed in order to excavate for the foundation underneath. And it proposed to replace it or replicate it exactly the way it is. The only thing they want to do is extend it 2 feet wider towards the road. So more family can sit and enjoy the view of whatever. The portico will again be replicated, just 2 feet out. And basically, everything else will be, when I'm done, you will never know I was there. The siding, the windows have to be addressed. And once again, like I said, with the siding, it's still going around in circles. But it's a large building, and they do not want to be a prisoner to a painter. They're looking for something less maintenance to it. And once again, they're trying to restore this building so they'll have it another 100 years for their family, generations and generations.
Okay, let me step back relative to something we do. The first thing we do is we try to validate or reconfirm the historical significance of the property and whether or not the property is historically significant. And I don't think, and even in discussion yesterday with the owners and yourself, there's no question relative to the historical significance of this property from the point of view of its design, its architecture, its position in the community. And so you're not taking any issue with that. I think there's going to be consensus among the commission that it is historically significant. What that means is, if we determine it is not historically significant, we say, well, thank you for coming, and you do what you do. If it is historically significant, then we go to part 2. So we're going to address part 1, unless anybody else has some serious concern. I believe this building is historically significant. Do we kind of have a consensus on that?
Sure.
Okay, so Nancy?
I move that the Chatham Historical Commission finds that the building located at 389 Bridge Street, Chatham, is historically significant because it is in whole or in part 75 years old or more, and is associated with one or more historical persons or events, cultural, economic, social, or political history of the town, and possesses architectural value and significance in terms of period, style, method of construction, and association with historically prominent builders,
Second.
essentially.
Okay. Any other comments from any members of the public? Okay, having said that, we'll take a quick roll call. Bob?
Bob Lear.
Robert, am I getting a yes? No? I love this.
Can you say his last name? I don't think he's
Need
there.
proof of life, Bob. Robert Lear? We seem to have a communication issue. Do you have any?
He's muted, but he's not trying to talk or anything, so I'm not sure if he can hear us. But
All right, we're going to just put that aside as an abstention. Nancy?
Yes.
Steph?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Okay, Bob, I'm going to count that as abstaining right now until we hear from you. All right, so we're done with part 1. All right. I appreciate your presentation, and I think your application, as I said, kind of said yesterday,
Unknown participant is now exiting.
what was that?
Bob Lear left the meeting.
Oh,
He couldn't get in.
can you give him a call? Well,
Yes, I'll give him a chance to call back in. I
Okay,
don't
fine.
have his number. right.
okay, great. So anyway, your application, the way you submitted it, from my perspective, is lacking in the sense that you provided drawings, and they're fine as far as I'm concerned, of what we are very of our authority as it relates to lifting the building and putting in the foundation. You know, that's fine. Your drawings reflect that. And your drawings reflect, although in not much detail, but certainly in the narrative.
Unknown
and what your
participant is now
testimony
joining.
that you're effectively going to replace the entire deck on both sides?
It's actually just on one, like a L shape, it's the front and then one side, yes.
Yes, exactly,
Okay,
yeah.
you said both sides, but.
Right, yeah.
Years ago, the other end used to be an exposed deck, and they closed it in.
They closed it in. So we're talking about the exposed deck on the front and
Yes.
side. Okay. And you, in your testimony and also in your narrative, you talk about how you're going to effectively demolish it. So we do have a loss of a significant historical, what we call historic materials, are going to be lost. The argument, not the discussion now, very simply, is are you sure you have to demolish it and send it into the dump? Or can you salvage any parts of that deck and that materials, the portico?
Well, the portico itself is, I'm just gonna extend it and then, you know, a lot of the trim and material that's rotted, is just hanging on the building, it's like falling off, will be replaced, obviously, and every detail, I already have pictures and measurements and everything, and to replicate all the moldings, everything else, and how the pillars are constructed and everything. The deck itself is like mahogany material, 1x4 mahogany, and obviously it's been replaced at least once over the years.
Yeah.
It's not 110 years old, or 115 years old. Another problem or whatever with trying to restore it or leave it where it is without touching the whole deck is you need access to extra, you know.
Okay, understand,
Yes.
understand. So we're gonna lose all that stuff. But you're claiming, your testimony and you're going to replace it as is. You're probably gonna be using ASIC?
No, it's gonna be 1x4 mahogany.
Okay. And the
It's gonna-
trim?
The trim, there will be, yeah, like a composite material, AZAC, or, you know, there's several
Okay.
brands. Takes paint well, it's gonna hold up. There's no corner boards in the house, they're all weave corners, or,
There's no what, sir?
there is no corner boards on the house, so you basically just have the roof trim that's gonna be
Yeah,
AZAC.
okay. All right, now to address the elephant in the room. Okay, you know, you talk about the lap siding will be removed and replaced with natural shingles. You know, if you look at the Form B, which is basically we use relative to historical significance, you know, the second sentence is the house is clad in broad cypress siding that wraps around the building corners, you know.
Yes?
The architectural significance and detail of this house, and a lot of historic houses built around that time, was the lap siding. This happens to have a very distinctive lap siding. It's broad. It's not, you know, 2 inches or 3 inches. It's significant and has a turn in it. And you're talking about replacing it and changing it. And that's a problem, my perspective, speaking for myself right now. And because you don't really show drawings, you have pictures, but you don't show, if I look at your pictures, Annie, go to the pictures if you could. Can you enlarge it, the first one? Existing front, or is that it? All right, and that's existing. And you show, okay, you see the lap siding and you come down. Oh, that's fast. And the proposed, now, you're doing two things which I have concern about. You're not showing the singles, you're showing the lap siding, and you don't show the singles. In addition, you've put in, it looks like grading or whatever it's called. What is that called? Say again? Yeah, underneath, around the
Lattice.
lattice, thank you very
Is
much.
that what it's called?
You're showing lattice, and it's different. It's
I
a
understand
change.
that. That's why we are here at this meeting to.
I'm sorry?
We are here at this meeting to discuss all this.
You got it, okay.
Yeah,
That's-
exactly.
That's number one, okay?
Right.
The lattice, is it really necessary? Because it changes the building. The building looks different with the lattice versus the siding.
I understand.
And when you show that in, and I know there's lattice on, you put the same thing on the side. If you're doing the lattice from a ventilation perspective, personally, You got it on the side, okay, that's fine, because there's no streetscape. But I would propose personally, if you have to use the lattice from a ventilation perspective,
right?
the side should be more than sufficient to provide ventilation for that space.
Okay.
That's my view.
They have, there's gonna be shrubs there, those are, I believe they're beach plum.
Shrubs come and shrubs go,
Yes, I understand.
yeah,
Once again, this is all, we're here to discuss this.
exactly. My preference would be, whatever we decide to do with the siding, that be something that is eliminated and we do the siding. The next question I have with the siding is that this building is unheated.
Right.
Is it insulated?
No, it's never had any heat in it. It's strictly a summer cottage.
Is there sheetrock on the interior?
No, if you didn't hurry up and leave, we could have showed you the inside. The inside is exposed, full-dimensional beams, all the flooring joists you can see. It's got stained beadboard throughout the whole house. The only thing that it was ever touched was it's got a newer, updated kitchen from the 80s, and there's one bathroom that was updated. Other than that, it's never been touched on the inside.
And I appreciate that, and I'm somewhat familiar with the interior. If I recall, that siding is effectively the sheathing.
You have a layer of beadboard, and then you have a layer of the three-quarter side.
Yeah, so effectively, from a construction perspective, that siding is the sheathing in terms of.
Yes,
Yes?
yes, it is.
So that's the problem. The sheathing, were you thinking of removing it or just shingling over it?
No, in this case, like you said, you only have a three-quarter layer of beadboard on the inside, and then you have a layer of the other.
Yeah,
Obviously, when you're shingling, you need a little bit more. So what I would do is you would remove the outside sheathing, and then you would put a layer of plywood or three-quarter boarding.
that's a problem, because it's a loss, two things. It's a loss of significant historic materials, that sheathing. If my friend Don Aikman were here, he would strongly agree, to lose that much of historic materials by losing the sheathing. And secondly, you're gonna cover it with shingles, which are inconsistent with the look of the house. So, and you really don't provide a lot of details other than a few words in your narrative, so that's a problem from my perspective.
Okay, why do you have photos?
Say again?
Why I submitted photos is, I heard it was okay. And
Just
then
move,
also-
do me a favor, move closer to the microphone.
Why I submitted photos, kind of Photoshop photos, is I heard they'd be adequate for this hearing. And then also, I was trying to save the owners thousands of dollars for them to
I hear you.
have an architect
I hear you.
come out
That's-
and measure every inch of that house and have a scale drawing.
I hear you, but
And then, obviously, if you're okay with this and that, what I need for a building permit will be a scale drawing, engineered scale drawing.
we're not looking for scale drawings, but a little bit more in the concept. I'd like to propose something to you. And before we open up the meeting, and I realize I'm taking too much time in this discussion totally, that you want to proceed with that foundation, and I agree, you're right, and you probably want to do that right away. But what you've submitted here is sufficient detail from my perspective to proceed with what you're trying to do to stabilize the foundation. I don't think we have enough detail or an understanding to proceed with the finish of how you're gonna handle the clapboards and either retaining them, refinishing them, or what, and that's the problem.
Well, we're here to discuss that, right?
Well,
There's miles of clapboard. They're, obviously 115 years old. They're loaded with stain and paint and caulking, and it's going to be very costly to clean those up and repaint them. And then also, all the weave outside corners, they're all, everything's all deteriorated, split.
so were you proposing to shingle the entire building?
Eventually, this is gonna have to be in, I have the winters to do this, so we're gonna be in stages.
Yeah, well, that's the
for
problem.
this.
All right, I think I've said enough. Sandy?
I have a couple questions. The lattice on the bottom, is that just to cover the proposed changes? Is there going to be brick underneath that, brick veneer behind that?
No, in the front there, that's lattice. It would help with the ventilation for the deck.
Is it a breakaway basement? It's not a
Oh,
breakaway.
no. It's just to kind of, because around the rest of the perimeter of the house, you're gonna have red brick. It's gonna copy the foundation in the back. The house is roughly 3 feet out of the ground, the first floor.
Right.
So
Not back?
it's just, this is mainly to kind of tie everything together, to kind of make the lines go all the way around. You're gonna have, we propose to have lattice on the side of the deck. So another thing, if you like red brick, you could put red brick in the front there too, or siding.
I like the siding, not red brick, but that's another story. Yes, Sandy?
I like the lattice.
Sandy,
along with the
get
siding.
closer to the mic if you could, Sandy.
Okay, sorry. And are you planning on reusing that mahogany flooring? Mahogany lasts a long time.
As you saw when you were over there, it's pretty rotted. Well, I can save as much as I can. There's a lot of places where they're very, it's soft.
Okay. Are they going to plan on replacing it with mahogany?
Yes.
Okay. Are they going to replace it with mahogany flooring? And this gentleman replied, yes. If I'm hearing you correctly, we have the sheathing, which is the clapboard,
Right.
and then there's like an airspace, or it backs right up to beadboard interior, beadboard siding and siding?
So actually, on the inside of the house, on the first floor, there is exposed studs, full
Right.
dimensional studs. Then you have a layer of 3/4 inch beadboard,
Okay.
and then you have the lap siding.
And when and you're talking about replacing the lap siding, are they talking about putting any insulation between?
No, the owners have no intention of putting heating. This is strictly a summer residence. To insulate it would ruin the whole aesthetics of the house, the way the walls are constructed.
And would you be weaving in the shingles?
Yes.
You'd weave in the shingles on the corners?
Or weave or lace, or, some people say weave, or, you understand, they're like, kind of, you go,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
So we would,
So there wouldn't be corner boards, they would be woven? Okay. Thank you.
Steph?
Yes, I'm just wondering if this can be taken in parts. If we can take this application and use it for the porch,
right,
and then if you wanted to go to the shingling or whatever later on, you could reapply. And that way, this might be, part of it might be passed.
right. Yes, we're up for anything. I'm under a deadline or time frame. If this doesn't get approved or whatever, I have to start this or have this foundation done this winter. If I lose a couple months here, it's gonna have to wait another year. And the house is gonna be in less, it's deteriorating more, so.
Okay. Steph? Thank you. Nancy? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Janet?
Yeah, I was there yesterday, and I see what the work that you're proposing needs to be done. And I agree with Stephanie. My understanding going in was that it was the foundation and the porch, and that was the pillars in front, the main thing.
Right.
Now, and that when I was talking with the owners, I said to one of them, "Are you sure you want to?" I got the impression they hadn't quite made up their mind
right.
on the covering of the house.
Right.
So if we're here to discuss what really needs to be done now, I have no problem with this application, and maybe when they make up their mind, I said to him, are you sure you want to put shingles on this? Because they're not going to hold up. I can tell you from experience. You might want to use something more like what you have on the house that is in keeping and it'll hold up better. But anyway, that's my feeling on the
No,
subject.
thank you very much.
I'm sorry, you're talking about cedar shingles, right?
Yes, you can get,
You're talking about cedar shingles.
Yes.
Wait,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Sandy,
Yeah, we-
Sandy,
no,
wait till I recognize you, please.
They- This.
Go ahead. Let's, Sandy,
My question was, you're talking about cedar shingles, red cedar, white cedar?
white cedar.
it's in the application, Sandy.
I know, I'm looking
Yes,
at it.
they
Yeah.
make, it depends on the quality you use, is how long they're gonna last, and also how much sun they get. The sun really bakes them and shortens their lifespan, but some houses, you can get 60, 70 years out of it. It all depends on the exposure and everything else.
Thank you. I'm going to ask the members of the commission to please let me recognize you before you speak, Sandy. Thank you.
Could I just?
Janet? Yes.
So that
please
other
finish.
lasted, the cypress, white cypress that was on lasted 115 years, right? So I would say, maybe, I know you can't go to Home Depot and find white cypress, but
Or I don't shop.
anyway,
Yes, you can. Nancy,
So,
sorry,
excuse me, could I
Nancy.
respond to you? It has cypress siding on it.
yeah,
I'm not sure if cypress is readily available like it was years ago.
No.
Also, it's not old growth cypress, if you could even get it.
That's the thing.
Nowadays, I mean, I can have someone copy that siding or have it milled
Well,
up.
that, excuse me, Nancy, now I'm talking over myself. I mean, that's a key thing. You're going to paint it. You're not going to, whatever you do, if you do decide, if this application does morph into something, a part two, okay? It's just like using ASIC. You can get ASIC lapsed, in lap siding. You can, all right?
No, this would be wood. It would be, it
Say-
would probably, if we copy the lap siding, it would be either a red cedar or.
Well, whatever you decide to use, it can be done. And I realize that there's expense involved. Sorry, Nancy. Yes.
Well, I mean, this is actually my question. The main reason that you would recommend going to cedar shingles, is that a cost factor or just an ease
A
of?
future maintenance factor.
Okay,
They, obviously, we're trying to preserve this building for them, and it will hold up, and it's the maintenance. You're gonna pay a painter $25,000-$30,000 every 4 years?
Please,
Okay.
we know that, okay? But, that's not, we have nothing on our thing. How much does it cost?
No, but I'm just
Let me tell you, the
saying,
cheapest thing to do would be to tear the whole building down,
Oh, we
but
could do
I am
that, too.
interested in knowing what, I think it's important to know what's going into the decisions and the recommendations. And sorry for my ignorance, currently the cedar, the siding that's on there does not need to be painted, or it is painted?
It's actually got layers.
Weathered.
Stain and paint, and there's a little bit of everything. There's
Yeah.
there's oil paint, there's probably latex paint. It's just like,
Okay. Right, and would you say, do you have any sense for the proportion of what's there now that would need to be replaced if you were, say, just replacing the parts that were rotted? I mean, is that, if you were saying, okay, I'm gonna go in and replace what needs to be replaced because it's rotted, what proportion of the,
I would say 80-90%
Okay.
needs to be.
okay. So it's a question of what you replace it with, and,
Yes, but
Yeah.
it would be, if we decide on wood lap siding, it would be wood.
Yeah.
It would be a high-quality product.
okay,
Obviously, the more the higher the quality, the longer it's gonna last, and the better it's gonna hold stain or paint.
okay. And if you were, and it sounds like that part of the job is not a next winter, that the first part of the job is, as my colleagues have said, possibly separable from the siding part of this
Yes,
application.
the priority would be to do the foundation and the deck, get it back together, and then if there's time, possibly we, do some of the windows. On the right side in the picture, all those windows in that end need to be.
Excuse me, that's another problem with your application. Windows, where did that come from?
It's on here.
It's what? It's in the narrative. It's in the narrative, but there's no plans relative to the.
Right, and then we're
Hold on, let me
discussing-
finish. There's no narrative and there's no plans relative to which windows you're gonna replace, whether or not how you're gonna replace them, whether you're gonna be taking sheathing out or not. Excuse me, that's part of the application. I'm not looking for detailed architectural drawings, but what kind of window you're gonna replace it with.
There-
You cannot do this by just writing a couple of words, one sentence, and by the way, we're gonna replace the windows. It doesn't work that way. Okay, let's proceed. Nancy, anything else?
No, I think those are my questions for now.
The one, just quick comment. You're really saying 80-90% of the siding of that building, which is the sheathing, needs to be replaced because it's rotted. I mean, you should get an engineer there because the building's gonna fall down. The sheathing is holding the building together, yes?
Not totally.
Not totally, but-
It's a very well-built,
I understand it's well-built, and it's
Frame.
well-built because the sheathing, which is this is holding it together, so, I mean,
to
I know
a
you're saying
point, but
80 to 90%,
You also
but,
have the beadboard on the inside that's three-quarter structural.
yeah, okay,
So,
thank you.
Yes, it's a
I
very.
got you.
The thing is like built like a piece of furniture.
Yeah, okay.
I'm very impressed if you ended up going inside and.
I was in it once, many years ago, and I'm familiar with it. Robert. And either one.
Well, first off, I want to thank the applicant and thank you for saving this house. It's really something special from where I sit. And we're not the enemy here. We're trying to just work through what it is you're actually going to do once we sign off on the plans. So I don't think anybody here, or I'll speak for myself, has any issue with the foundation. You have to do that. As far as the siding, it sounds like you're still trying to decide what the options are. Maybe it hasn't been as researched as in-depth
Right.
as it might have been.
It's still up to the owner.
It's still in the air, right? So I know that there's cost considerations here and so on. And then I'm okay with the lattice work. I'm puzzled why they want to move the deck out 2 feet. That deck it's a monster already. Admittedly, it's longer than it is in depth.
Right.
I'm not sure how much that's going to actually change the view of the house. What my concern is, in open and honest conversation here, my concern is that if the applicant can't make these repairs and keep it a summer house, he may just fold the whole thing, bulldoze it down, and some developer get a hold of him, and then we got another
Right.
McMansion here that nobody cares. Personally, every time I go on Bridge Street, I look at that house and I admire it. And if they build a new house there, it'll just be another new house. It won't be anything, special. So I'm kind of coming from the situation is that if you make some investment now, maybe you'll delay tearing that house down another 20 or 30 years. I don't know. But I think we just have to focus on what we can vote on today, because the siding is such a key part of this that we don't have any consensus. Does anybody like the white cedar shake in this house? I don't think anybody
No,
is
I
excited about that.
think we have consensus relative to that point, but
Yeah. So that's enough for me, and thank you again for saving this house.
The people want to extend the deck 2 feet because they have a large family and they all like to sit out on that front deck, and then it would just give them more room to set up their rocking chairs or whatever they do and be able to walk by. And then
Thank you.
we figure that it doesn't really change the street view. The only thing is from the side, when you look down, that's the only real difference you would say.
Yes, Robert.
Yes, I agree with Robert Stevens and the others totally that this is a very valuable house, an historic house, and it's to be commended that you're trying to save it and restore it. I addressed my comments primarily on the siding. I know everyone's talked about it, but I did a little bit of Wikipedia-type work on this. And cypress siding was very popular at the turn of the century. And the third criteria of the historic significance is the materials of construction. It includes the materials of construction. And cedar was popular because it was rot-resistant, insect-resistant, superior to pine and cedar, and had lower maintenance. You didn't have to reshingle, and can last 200 years or more, according to the series, if properly maintained.
Right.
Not sure this is the case or not, but reasonable maintenance, I'm sure, has been done. And so it's a very special thing to have this kind of siding on a building in Chatham. It's a historic, valuable thing to have this type of siding. I really doubt that it's 80 to 90% gone. I think you need to have that revisited. So that's my main comment, and I underscore what Frank's saying here.
Okay. One question quickly relative to the deck size, because I think we might have consensus we could reach. If I recall, the roof line, most of the deck is exposed. It's not covered by the roof, right?
Right, on the front, yes. There's there's probably a 2.5 to 3 foot overhang.
So right now, the current deck is covered by the roof?
No, just partially.
Just partially, that's,
Front.
yeah, that's another detail that's not in the drawings. You know, when you submit that stuff to us, we could, I want to ask the question, if you had a drawing, it wouldn't be any questions. For the future, and I hope you're going to come back to us. Let me just finish my point. The more detailed you make the concept and
I
drawing,
understand.
this would be over in 20 minutes.
I understand, and I'm also being lenient towards the homeowners. They have a huge
I hear
project
you,
and
and
expense
you've
here,
made
and I'm trying to
that
cut
point.
down on the initial. You could look at these or this whole
You've
application
made that
and
point.
throw it out the window, and then have to get drawings remade.
You've made that point, but I'm not talking about you spending $20,000. You know, you could draw something very simply to make it simple for us in the
A designer
future.
drew some of this, and then
that's-
we discussed it, and I said we have to
So here we are, and we're blown,
Okay.
and we're
And then you
going to
want
blow
more,
an hour of
give you
discussion,
more.
which could have been resolved with a simple drawing.
Oh,
Okay,
it's simple.
Thank you.
Plural.
thank you. All right? Okay. I think we're in somewhat violent agreement here of how to proceed, and, you know, unless you want to withdraw the application and,
Can you ask if Bob Lear has any comments?
yeah, hey, Bob?
I don't think you can hear me.
Yeah, we can, Bob, but you got to speak up. Thank you,
Yeah, we
Robert.
can.
Oh, okay. Yes, I do have some comments. They're basically in agreement with the changes that are being requested for the area of the foundation, which will be exposed, which I don't really appreciate in terms of changing the look of significant parts of the houses. And I also share Frank's concern about what look to be additional windows being put in at the ground level, I assumed for basement ventilation, I'm guessing. So I want to hear a better rationale for making those changes. But if the applicants aren't ready to make a decision on all those issues, then I think it's perfectly appropriate to go ahead and get the foundation done. And then in another few, well, say month, we should have agreement on what are the bottom 3 feet of the house going to look like. And get the deck done too, I'm sorry. Okay?
Thank you, Bob. All right,
Did I address that, his questions?
sure.
We propose to continue windows across there because the back L has a full red brick foundation and it has windows in it. It's for ventilation, and it's also, if you continue on, see, on the left side, that's that's the L of the building, that has red brick. The one to the right with that window is,
Yes, yes, sir.
the one on the right, from the corner to the right, that's proposed, and basically, those windows in that red brick foundation are just to continue the look around.
Okay, let me understand it, because your drawings don't reflect that. If that's what you're proposing, is under the entire deck, red brick on the bottom and windows, I need a drawing which shows that. That's insufficient. There's no size on that drawing. Okay, wait a second.
Once again,
Thanks.
I'm submitting things, and we're discussing this. If
You know,
want-
you make it sound like we're here to do your design work. We're not.
No, I'm not.
We're here to approve what you submit. Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate the clarification. Now I can't find it.
Here.
So this is strictly just the side,
Which side? This-
the right front. Yeah, I got it.
Oh, then you got the next one. As you can see, the top picture, well, anywhere where the siding, it goes right down to the dirt, the bottom, it's all rot, because it's been sitting in the dirt.
What you're proposing to do is put brick foundation around the entire porch, the entire deck?
On this end where it's closed in, where it's not a heatable space, a habitable space, closed-in space with windows around it. But the other end where the deck is, we propose to put lattice for the ventilation.
Windows, and not the front.
Right, the front would have lattice or siding or red brick, whatever you decide.
What do you propose?
We propose on the front lattice.
Lattice, thank you.
No
Okay.
windows, no windows on the front.
No
No,
windows.
No.
So the siding stops, and then it's just lattice and it's open to the air.
yes.
Okay,
Basically, the rear L of the house, the level of the siding would continue all the way around the house. Instead of now in the
Okay.
front, it goes right into the dirt.
all right, we need to conclude or get some kind of consensus to move forward. I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that there's a consensus that we'd like to bifurcate this application and ask the applicant to proceed only with the efforts related to the foundation and the deck related to the effort to do the foundation. And the applicant is indicating that in order to do the foundation, he's putting the full foundation in, he needs to remove the deck in order to have access to the building to do the excavation. Did I say that correctly?
Yes,
Okay. And as part of that process, in his excavation, if you will, they're gonna have to remove part of the deck, so now they're gonna say to remove the whole deck around the side and the front, and then replace it in kind, if you will, and in size, 2 feet longer in the front. How about the side, 2 feet longer on the side also? Yes.
oh, this side would stay the same. The side
It's 2
is
feet
underneath
wider.
it's got the second floor on top of it.
Okay, gotcha.
But
Yes,
the
Nancy?
decking itself would have to be replaced because it's in
Yes,
need of repair.
okay, all right. I would propose that that be the limit of the approval. That's what we're proposing, only that. No work on the windows, no working on the siding or the clapboards until you come back to this commission with some kind of proposal that we can discuss. Yes, Nancy?
Are you including the portico rebuilding in your
I'm sorry?
proposal? Are you including the portico, which needs to be rebuilt?
Yeah, well,
in
he's
your
got to rebuild
proposal?
the portico.
Right, so that's part of your proposal of
course,
what you
yeah.
would approve with the deck? I'm
If
just
I
clarifying.
One second, Sandy. If I understand the construction, and you correct me, in order, when you take the deck apart, the portico has to go also.
Yes, I would secure it, hold it up,
Yes,
and remove that wall and the posts and but eventually, you know, the process would be to frame the deck and stuff and then rebuild it, you know.
Okay.
And Frank, just to clarify, Frank.
Hold
this-
on one second. There's somebody else has a question. Yes.
Would the portico then be 2 feet longer?
Yes, it would extend 2 feet
2
towards
feet.
the house. Excuse me,
2 feet.
towards the road,
Towards the road?
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
So the portico would be bigger.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know, the crosstalk is nice, but it's difficult for me, and I think it's difficult for the public, you know, and the camera. So you're going to have to raise your hand so we recognize you. I'm not trying to be punitive here. I'm looking that way, I'm looking this way, okay? Got it. All right. You see, the drawings really don't reflect that.
Right, okay.
And you're going to have to submit before I approve this, no matter what happens here
Yes, I
in terms of the approval of the motion, before I sign off on it, you're going to have to submit drawings which more adequately reflect what you're actually doing in terms of the porch and the portico. I don't need a detailed, you know, Ryder and Wilcox drawing. It could be, first name, sorry.
Craig,
Craig, it could be Craig Cochran's drawings, but something that we could put in the file that the building inspector is going to see, this is what we approved. So when you submit your final construction drawings, we have a concept that we approved. The process very simply is the
Yes.
Historical Commission approves a concept, the Building Commission approves the actual detail.
right.
You got it? It's very
Yes,
simple.
so if you approve part of this, I'll be on the phone with the designer, and they will, that's the next step. Like I said,
Yeah,
it's-
okay.
I'm trying to be lenient on the owners with,
I understand, and we're trying to understand so we can approve it.
okay, yeah.
It's like the old expression, KISS, keep it simple, you know.
Well,
all right.
I thought I did.
Say again?
I thought I did keep it simple.
Well, I guess it's a different view of that. All right, guys, somehow, Nancy, do you think I've said enough that you could give me a motion?
Well, first of all, I don't have any of the motions that we normally give in front of me for delay or not delay, so,
Oh, we can
I'm
get
sorry,
that
I
for
only
you.
have the historically significant ones, and I'm not experienced in.
So on the back side of that blue one?
the back side.
Oh, okay,
The
okay,
bottom,
all right, okay.
Excuse me one second.
Yep, got it, sorry.
I guess what you can sue is, we're not going to impose a demolition delay.
So be the bottom one.
You're
the
right,
bottom one.
but
And
for a
then-
portion of it. So that's what I do not know, what legally needs to be done before we
Can we
approve it.
condition
You
it?
do not impose a demolition delay.
I understand that.
I think, so what your statement is leading into the motion is what will be recorded by Annie and portrayed.
Okay, okay.
Mr.
Sorry
Chairman,
about that. We're doing a little differently.
Mr. Chairman, can we condition the
Yes, we're going to
motion?
condition it, and that's what Nancy's going to do.
Okay,
So Nancy will give us a draft condition, and we'll adjust it as necessary.
okay. Yes, I will try. So I move that conditionally, based on removing the request to replace the siding and any rotted windows or doors, or any windows and doors in the structure at this point, that we find that the proposed work, which would reflect the replacement of the deck, the rebuilding of the portico, and the foundation only, that proposed work will not materially diminish the historical significance of the building, and therefore we do not impose a demolition delay on that portion of this application.
All right, we have a
This is
second. We
conditional,
we
sorry,
can
this is
adjust it.
conditional on a new application? Do we ask for a revised application?
The applicant has agreed that he will return to the commission for work
Okay.
related to the work that's not being approved here. Did you get that, Annie? Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, we got a second, and now we can discuss it if anybody has some additional conditions. Yes? Yes,
So I have a question, so from,
go ahead.
so does this mean that they can go ahead and put the windows in the bottom, in the basement
I
foundation?
explicitly said in my motion that it does not include the replacement of the siding or any replacement
But
of
they're gonna-
windows and doors.
But they're going to be working on the foundation.
Yes,
Oh, I'm talking about, I'm not talking about the
Yes,
foundation
yes, I
windows.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, sorry.
First floor and second
I'm,
floor windows.
so this doesn't include the foundation windows in the back?
Oh, I think it does.
Yes, it does. By
In other words,
virtue,
he can't put those little
Right,
windows.
I need to know of the foundation windows.
I think-
And also the
Yes.
lattice.
I think we are approving the plan as proposed, whether or not everybody likes it
Well, let's
for the
take-
foundation, but that was
let's,
my,
let's move on, let's not move on the motion, but can we get a consensus? The one issue that is being brought up is the issue of, the windows in the front. I don't think anybody has a problem with the windows at the bottom of the foundation, which are going to be inserted in the concrete, in the,
Trying to ask you, yeah.
yes, good.
those windows are not at the front of the house.
Yeah.
Right, they're on the
Okay.
sides and
The second,
Okay, okay.
the second issue I need a consensus of, you see why this is getting complicated? The second issue is the issue of the lattice. Quickly, yay or nay, Steph, lattice?
No opinion.
Sandy?
Yes, lattice.
Yes, lattice.
I'm fine with the lattice.
Gentlemen?
I'm okay with the lattice.
I'm okay, not great, but I'm okay.
Okay, so then we can approve the application the way it is because the application, although we don't have drawings, shows pictures of lattice, and we'll approve that, yes?
You want me to restate my motion with
No.
more explicits?
One second.
I want to ask a question. So is this also including coming out 2 feet?
Yes, because
Okay.
that's what's being submitted. Let me just say something. That's the issue. If the drawings reflect it, then we can approve it. When the drawings don't reflect it, the pictures are not the drawings. The pictures are merely there to assist us in understanding. You got to separate the pictures, and maybe I've got to talk to my young lady on the right. People have to understand the pictures are not the application. The application are the drawings.
In our application, I believe it's a choice to do pictures or drawings.
All right, we got to just, we
And,
got to button that one up.
and I want to just point that out. I think that's what they submitted for the 2-foot with the portico
Yeah,
and
we got that.
extension. Okay.
That's okay. All right, I think we got it.
And Mis-
Jesus. Yes.
Yes, I
Frank?
think as a possible condition, you might want to have improved drawings, that's all.
yeah, so it's very understandable. I need them for a building permit anyways. I mean, we're here to discuss this or get
Yeah.
to a.
We don't do design. We approve
I
or not
understand
design.
that.
And
I
that's,
have a designer
that's the
architect
problem.
Right here.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Right, but you're
Okay,
finishing.
come on, guys, we got to get this done here. Yes.
I'm just
Frank,
looking at the
Frank.
foundation plan.
Yes,
On the side of the house that is enclosed,
yes.
or I'm sorry, on the side of the house with the porch, I'm talking about just the side. You're not expanding that deck out so that,
No, everything, the
Okay.
only
Is-
thing they.
Okay, let's
just
go.
the front.
We got it.
Towards the road.
Thank you.
Robert, online.
Yeah. Yes, Robert?
Question. When you were taking a straw poll on the lattice, I don't like it on the front because I think the existing view is what's there, and it's the most obvious one for passersby, which include me. And I'm still a little unclear as to what's supposed to be happening with the other sides, adding bricks and windows. So, anyway, I would not approve that part of it now, just obviously the foundation and the deck and portico work are fine to go ahead.
Okay, if I understand what you said, the foundation work and the portico and the deck, you're okay, but you have a concern on the left
Yes.
side?
The front,
The front.
Okay, and you do
Yes.
not approve of the lattice?
definitely in the front.
Yeah, but
And
we seem to have a
And-
majority of the members who approve or have no problem with the lattice, Bob.
I understand that. I'm allowed to be the lone nay vote.
All right, we're going to go full circle here. We have a motion. Do you want Nancy to restate it? Was everybody clear?
We got it.
Okay. Mary, Joseph. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
I know,
Okay.
I'm about to vote. You have a question on the motion?
Well, I think we're approving the application, except for the siding and the windows above the deck.
That's correct, but we do need one last clarification. I would propose to include in this motion, until we have a decision on the total siding, that the siding on the porch retain the clapboards. Because if we decide not to allow, all right, go back to your pictures. Keep going.
The whole first floor? You say siding on, oh, the front? You say siding on the porch.
The bottom picture, can you, let me ask the question. Could you expand that, please? This is what we get for trying to be nice. All right, open, the one below that. Proposed front. There you go, kid. You're quicker than I am. All right, the proposed front, that's what you're proposing. Those are clapboards on the front of
Right.
that,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
Okay, simple as
So-
that.
So obviously, if the whole house is gonna have the exact same siding on it. So obviously, the siding issue has to be addressed and taken care of.
That's right, because,
Or anything, that front wall or of the deck.
and you're not going to be touching the siding on the front of the building with it at all.
Well, it needs to be addressed.
Yes,
When we.
But not now, but not part of
No,
this
but
application.
Say, we're building that, I might have to remove and put it back, or.
Understand.
Yes,
That's part of the construction process.
Yes.
You got to crack the egg to make an omelet.
right.
Got it.
Frank? I just want to be
You
clear.
have something related to the motion?
Yes.
Okay.
I-
Did you
it's a-
look at me and ask the question?
Well, okay.
I want to be sure that we're clear that above that lattice is
Yeah, that's what we just cleared, that's what we just stated.
that is going to be the sidings.
Because where the applicant is saying, because he didn't submit drawings, he submitted the picture. So this picture shows the clapboards on the front porch, lower unit. I think we're clear. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've got to finally take a motion, roll call here, goodness gracious. All right, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Lear,
Yes, I'll approve.
Nancy,
Yes.
Steph,
Yes,
Sandy,
Yes.
Janet,
Yes,
Robert?
Yes,
And the chair votes yes. I'm sorry this took so long, but you need to understand, if the drawings are clearer, we move quickly.
Okay, I'm sorry, I had the impression.
That's okay.
I was told you
This is
could
not-
also do it with.
You know, we're not, you know, we don't like to get involved in design. It's technically not
It's
our
desi-
jurisdiction.
All right.
All right. Thanks much, Greg. Soon we're going to see you again. Now, I expect to see some drawings very soon. All right, thank you. Fellow members of the commission, thank you very much. I appreciate your
yeah.
patience in this. But this is too much of a iconic structure that we can't understand what's going on. Yes, thank you very much.
So Frank, excuse me, are we supposed to hang on to this application because they will be back? It's a conditional approval of part of it.
I believe they'll be submitting a new one.
A new application, a total new, okay.
Well, I would assume when they submit,
We should hang on.
they would submit a new application before, so you can keep it if you want in your memory book, but if not, you can get rid of it. Thank you. Okay. I've been reminded again, the minutes, we're going to quickly move to that. How would I do this? We have minutes from May 20th. Does anybody have any comments or suggestions or corrections?
I
Seeing
move we
none?
accept the minutes,
I'll second it.
May
All right,
20th.
motion and second to approve the minutes. No further comments. Bob,
Yes.
Nancy, you were absent,
I
right?
abstain.
Abstain? Stephanie?
Yes,
Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes,
Robert?
Yes.
And Robert Wilson, you were voting then?
Yes.
Okay, and the chair votes yes. All right, thank you very much. I apologize, sir.
we should have put him first.
I think your application is a lot clearer.
I hope so.
Wait a second. Here we go. The next application is 17 School Street, and it's heard within Chapter 158. We have a structure which is in the National Register District. It is a contributing structure in the National Register District. We should note that, whether, yes, but a contributing structure, because there are some that are not. I did have a question, but I can't remember it. So this is kind of straightforward. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you're doing?
Hi, Mike Barassi, owner of 17 School Street. Generally, it is replacing the stairs and the deck on the front of the house.
Are you a member, are you live in town?
No,
Oh, okay. Because we have an opening on the commission, and you've got we had a good education of what we do.
I did, yeah.
And, and I'm always looking for another,
I think my neighbor Fred Miller he's in one of the historic things.
okay. All right, this is kind of straightforward, and I assume from the narrative, or at least whatever words we have in your pictures, is that, well, there is no narrative, okay?
There is a narrative.
You're gonna? Okay,
Actually, could you show the original, the current condition? The members visited yesterday and saw the condition of
I'm
the,
sorry?
the members who were there yesterday visited the site and saw the conditions of the front stairs. They're rotting.
Is there a written narrative? No. All right, why don't you tell us a little bit more about what you're doing, how you're gonna do it? Or are you gonna do it, or are you gonna hire somebody else?
I've already hired somebody else. They submitted a building permit, and then the building department told me I had to go through the historic commission.
Ah, so we got the chicken and the egg here.
Chicken and egg.
Do you have the drawings, the building permit?
The building permit,
Yeah, no, I don't need it now, but I just wondered, has it already gone through?
it probably has not been issued because they're being seen today. They wait for my sign off.
All right. Have you seen the drawing, the permit?
I have not. I mean, originally when we flagged this, but I haven't looked at it recently. I can possibly pull it up. We'll see.
All right, I guess I'd like to see it when we sign off on it and approve it. What I was looking for is a little bit more detail. It's gonna be completely exactly the same?
The only difference would be the railing. The current railing is not to code. And if you go to the next picture,
Okay, all right.
I just put a railing and balusters.
Well, it's a charming little house in a very nice location. Any other members have any comments? Let's start at this end. Robert?
I have no comment.
Frank?
Robert?
Yes, I think it's an excellent older house of historic importance.
Thank you. Bob, you have a comment out there?
I do very minor. Full disclosure, I can see Mr. Brassi's front porch from my front porch, but I don't think that presents any conflicts. So I like the proposal.
I'm sorry? He likes it. Oh, you like it? Sorry, Bob.
I approve the proposal.
Between my hearing aids and the online stuff, we got a failure to communicate. All right,
Yep.
Nancy?
I think we would say to this, very glad that you are doing what's necessary to maintain an old house. It seems like necessary work, and I don't have any particular
Very
questions.
good. Janet?
No, I agree with everything that's been said. I think it's great that you're keeping it up. It's lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll second all that.
Sandy?
I have no problem with it, but I have a question. Who does your hedge?
Cool. I do.
Nice job.
And Fred's son-in-law, Doug, we both do half. Yeah.
Nice.
We'll be doing the train soon.
I always look forward to it when I walk that way.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Excuse me, Frank, I just looked at the building permit. It's the same plans that he has submitted to us.
Okay, great. Well, just the members of the commission, what I was aggravating on the last one, I mean, this is the design that we can see what he's planning to do. And guess what? I don't think he spent $20,000 to do that. And so that a discussion of, I don't want to spend $20,000 is a bit bogus. It bothers the hell out of me. Sorry about that.
I drew it in a few hours.
Say again?
I drew it in a few hours.
Yeah. $20,000 you charge yourself.
I-
Thank you. All right, I think we have a consensus to move forward on this. The first one would be whether or not it's historically significant. Nancy?
I move that the Chatham Historical Commission finds the building located at 17 School Street is historically significant because in whole or in part, it is 75 years old or more. It is associated with one or more historical persons and events, and it possesses architectural value or significant in terms of period, style, and method construction.
Second.
Thank you very much, Janet. Nancy? All right, any other comments? Members of the public? All right, here we go. Bob?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Steph?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Thank you very much. Sorry to drag it
Sorry,
through this.
I'm sorry. I only gave the motion on historical significance. I did not add the part. I didn't know if you were still dividing it up.
That's okay.
I
Yeah,
can
go ahead.
revise that and add it on if you want.
No, go ahead, give it a new motion. I'm just trying to move things along.
Okay. So in addition, the Chatham Historical Commission also finds that the proposed work to be done dated 4/30/2025 will not materially diminish the historical significance of the building, and therefore the commission does not impose a demolition delay.
Second.
Thank you very much. Any other comments, members of the public? Okay, roll call, Bob,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes?
Steph,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Janet,
Yes.
Robert,
Yes.
chair votes yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Doesn't look like Mr. Whitcomb. New business.
Okay.
Come on up. We have an application, not an application, but we have a bit of information transfer from the Cemetery Commission, and I'll let the member introduce himself.
Hi, good morning. My name is Bill Bystrom. I'm a member of the Cemetery Commission. Mr. Wickham is unable to be here today, so he asked me to give you a quick rundown on this. And first of all, hopefully you've received the packet with the pictures in it. Do you have that?
Yes.
Okay, great, super. I want to thank the Atwood House for providing us with some assistance in obtaining the early information regarding the Mack Memorial. As you know, it's located next to the Coast Guard Station. And in 1902, March 17th, the surfmen from Monomoy Point Surf Station went out to rescue a barge. And in the process, all the surfmen, or 7 of the 8 surfmen died. And the members of the crew, including the captain, Captain Mack, also perished. The following year, his wife petitioned to establish a memorial there, and the town and the Coast Guard went along with it. So recently, the Cemetery Commission has received information that the bollards that are holding the chain around the obelisk are in sad disrepair. So what we'd like to do is replace those with granite bollards and also replace the existing chain. They've, as you can see on the pictures, the chain is broken. You can see some places where it's chipped off, and they really need to be, yeah, you can see a big hole in that now, and the lichens growing on it. So we, basic request is that you people give us your blessing for proceeding with that. And what we'd like to do is, we have about $7,000 left this year, and we'd like to buy 9 of the granite bollards this year. And then as we go into the next year, there's 15 altogether. We'll find the remaining $6,000 to buy the rest of the 6 other bollards and also the chain. And John Fulgier is going to put them in for us. So then I think we'll be all set and ready to go. It's a great story. There's a book by Dalton, which is Lifesavers of Cape Cod. And what is phenomenal about this story is that the one person that was saved was rescued by, he was clinging to the bottom of the boat. The other people had tried to cling to the bottom of the boat, but they'd all got washed away once the surf boat got overturned. So as a result of that, the Coast Guard made a change in all the vessels after that period of time, that they would have handholds on the bottom of the surf boats that went out. So if they did flip, people could hold on to it. So it's really interesting. You know what's, first of all, I just want to commend you people for being on the Historical Commission. I think it's great. I mean, history is such a big part of where we live, and you people are doing a real nice job of that. So anyway, any questions?
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
It's phenomenal. And the ballards are going to try to do granite. That's,
We're going to buy the granite ones because we feel that they last a lot longer.
yeah. The pedestal itself is granite.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, yes, Nancy.
Are they going to be the same style? That
Yes,
they're going to be
they will.
designed in the
They
same
will
way?
look exactly the same, except they will
But in
be of a
granite,
different
which
material.
Seems
yeah.
like a vast improvement over what's there, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
thank you. It's a great spot. I mean, I always see visitors walking up there, you know, and quite honestly, you know, we did a lot during the 300th anniversary, which I know you were involved in too, and we didn't really put a plaque there. You know, we have a plaque across the way talking about the Pendleton, et cetera, but that whole area of the memorial and this memorial, and also the burial ground where there's loads of unnamed sailors which were buried. I don't know how many were buried. I think it's 35 sailors who were lost at sea with no names are buried there. So it's a funeral, and not funeral. It's a cemetery, and it probably should be some recognition. That's one of the most historic parts of Chatham in terms of people visiting us. Yes.
You know, that whole area up there is just phenomenal. There's actually the propeller from the 36-500.
Yeah.
That is, and a lot of people don't know that. They go up there, they see the lighthouse, they look out over the beach, and they go, this is really cool. And they really don't know the historical significance of that whole area. It's
Yes.
really very important.
All right. I think, I don't know, objection. We just need a general approval or a motion just indicating our approval of the proposal.
I move that the Chatham Historical Commission support the proposal to replace the bollards and chain at the Mac Monument.
I'll second.
Second, thank you very much. Any other discussion? Bob, anybody else? Nope. Okay. We'll
Nope.
do a roll call. Bob?
Yes, I approve.
Nancy?
Yes.
Steph?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Thank you very much. Sorry.
Thank you.
it wasn't
Thank you for your
11.
time and all the effort.
Would you like to join us?
We're trying.
Emphatic.
All right, we got one or two things just quickly.
Mochi, be quiet.
We're still waiting for, the first item. You do have in front of you finally, better late than never, Messina, a draft copy of my proposal to send to the ZBA. I tried to keep it similar to what we submitted to Mass Historic and address the issues which are relevant to the Historical Commission. You know, I know we have issue of parking, we have the issue of safety, et cetera, these are outside the authority of the Historical Commission. And I know from experience, I was talking to Christina this morning, you know, the Historical Commission, when you go there from one board and try to tell them what their business is, they don't necessarily like it. So I wanted to keep it within the purview and the area of responsibility and authority of the Historical Commission. I would encourage individually members of the commission as citizens, if you do have a comment relative to those other issues, you know, to make them individually and write a letter to the to the ZBA. And I know they would appreciate it, you know, because they're looking for input from the public. And I hear there's a lot of input. So, you know, it doesn't hurt. And it's a simple letter, you know, just simple question. It doesn't have to be 5 paragraphs long. And so unless there's major objection, because I have the ZBA, Sarah Clark, about to come down on me hard, we need to submit this today. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, boss, you got it. I'll sign it if you want me to. That's all right. Thank you. No, I got it. No. All right. Just one or two things we'll make before 12 o'clock. Still waiting for the attorney, town council,
We're in discussions, we just keep going back and forth.
in discussion. That sounds like the meeting we just had. We're in discussion. Okay, I'm in discussion and a little bit annoyance with the Mass Historic Commission of not getting a response to our request for determination of eligibility. We're going on, it's going to go into 3 months, this continues. So I intend on making a couple of phone calls. We'll see what happens relative to the decision on the William and Ann Nickerson Homestead archaeological site. In terms of Mr. Dre, any news?
I spoke to Katie this morning. Again, she was waiting for that determination from
Oh,
MHC.
exactly.
But because it's the end of the year, fiscal year is looming, she said that we could get something together soon.
Well, this is a chicken and the egg thing, you know, they're waiting for a determination, the response for determination of eligibility and how they allocate the funding. So it'll happen, it's just a matter of when, so government moves ever so slowly. There's nothing more to say about that. The demolition done by neglect, staff, still waiting for staff to give me an answer, but we'll continue pressing on that. That's pretty much it. I have just a couple of comments. We talked about the interviews and the potentially reallocation of membership, but that's something I have to discuss with Mr. Nicastro as a recommendation for myself or the commission. We just gave you the Pemrose input, so we're done with that. There's a couple of things which are general in nature, which I just want to comment. There's a group that this commission, as a commission, was involved in the beginning, something called the restoration of the Godfrey Windmill. And there's a group that was formed called the Chatham Windmill Group. Myself and actually Sandy are active members in that group. And there are 2 positions open for a summer docent. It's a paid position, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 to 3. I know nobody here on this commission has free time, but if you are interested or know someone who is looking to become a docent or a guide to the windmill, just contact Parks and Recreation, and they can apply for that position. It would be appreciated. Last but not least, our friends at Protect Our Past keep reminding us, I guess we're not supposed to do this, but I'll do it anyway. They're having a major gala and auction on June 21st. The Protect Our Past group has been a great asset to the Historical Commission in helping us get the word out about restoration. So if you're interested, please let them know. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
You may have brought this up at the last meeting when I wasn't here, but I wanted to remind everyone that it's June, it's Chatham History Month, that the Chatham Historical Commission, us, are a member of the organization, the collaborative partnership called Historic Chatham, which has been running a history weekend every year since the 300th anniversary, and this year expanded to the full month. And there is a website called historic-chatham.org, where you will see a full month of events throughout the town at historic sites, the library, the windmill, the Atwood House, just lots of things going on this month. And since we are part of it, I think it's appropriate that we remind everybody that it's happening.
Thank you very much. We did talk about it last time, but I'm great you repeated it. Enough. It's almost 12 o'clock. Anything else anybody else want to bring up? I'm sorry?
Was the administrative review for 764 Old Harbor?
I'm sorry, I'm not getting this.
It's under old business.
We had administrative approval.
Oh, yes, sorry about that. I moved too fast. Thank you very much. 764 Old Harbor Road, ratification of administrative approval. A window change. Who's going to speak to that? Sorry, Janet.
So I
requested.
visited the house, the property at 764 Old Harbor Road, and it is historically significant and remarkably good condition for its age. And it's obviously been well-maintained and is currently undergoing a renovation of the kitchen. And the proposed change to the exterior is very minor. It's the replacement of one window and the addition of another window that is not existing there that will offset it. And there is a bay window in the center, and it's barely visible from the road, and it is not going to alter it will look different if you manage to peer through the bushes and get into the property and see it, but it's not going to really affect the streetscape, so I will not diminish the historic significance of the home, and I recommend approval.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Okay.
I second that, by the way.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, Bob, make me a motion? Motion
Yes.
to approve?
Yes.
Second?
Second.
Okay.
Oh, I thought Janet did it. All right. Never mind.
I'm sorry, Bob?
I thought Janet had made a motion, and I seconded it, but
Oh,
well,
sorry about that.
it's all right.
My hearing's going. All right, roll call. Bob?
It's just, yes.
Nancy?
Yes?
Steph?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Nick votes yes. I think we need a motion. It's 4-12.
I move we adjourn the meeting.
Second?
Second, all right, very good. I assume there's no discussion. Bob?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Steph?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Unknown
Yes.
Chair
participant
votes yes.
is now
Thank you very
exiting.
much, and I appreciate your patience with this.